Joining me now is Aurel Braun. He's a professor of international relations and political science at the University of Toronto. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Well, Professor, let's begin with trade and investment. Both of these neighbors pledging to deepen economic cooperation. What does each side gain from the other?
China is Indonesia's largest trading partner, and Indonesia is a huge country. It is the largest Muslim majority country in the world. It has a population of about 275 million people. It has vast natural resources, commodities that China wants, whether it's ferrous nickel, whether it's natural gas. And China, of course, is an enormous market for Indonesia. China has invested heavily in Indonesia, something like $110 billion. And as it was mentioned earlier, there is this project that is both an important and prestigious one, and that is the railway from Jakarta to Bandung, which has been delayed and has been caused escalations. So there is a lot at stake, and it is noteworthy that in an era and in a region where there is increased geopolitical competition and quite a bit of friction on occasion, China has called Indonesia a model partner.
Well, to add to that, we know that China has had a strict no-COVID policy. How significant was this in-person visit by Joko Widodo? Face-to-face diplomacy in China just hasn't happened in the last 2 years. What does that signal?
The symbolism is significant because the last major leader in China who came to visit was President Putin in February during the Olympics, and there hasn't been another leader since then. So this in itself sent a message, and it is also the case that President Jokowi, as he's popularly known, is the chair of the G20 meeting. That meeting is supposed to take place in the middle of November, and he brought a personal invitation to President Xi. It is not clear President Xi will accept. That meeting could be controversial because Russia is likely to participate. There may be boycotts. So there are many layers in this relationship: political, economic, cultural, geostrategic.
As you mentioned, we're waiting to see if that invitation is accepted. But what is Joko Widodo trying to accomplish ahead of that G20 summit as he makes these visits to some of the countries in the region ahead of November?
He wants to boost Indonesia's profile. He also wants to make sure that he becomes the head of ASEAN, and he's likely to get Chinese support for that. He also portrays himself as a peacemaker. Let's not forget that he went to Ukraine, President Jokowi, and he also went to Russia and offered to mediate. So this is an individual who has international political ambitions. Indonesia is a growing power. It is a major regional power. The GDP of Indonesia in terms of purchasing power parity is roughly that of Russia's.
Wow. Professor Aurel Braun, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your insight from Toronto.
My pleasure.